All right, what's up, everyone? So today I'm gonna be ranking all 15 AP classes that I took as Salutatorian, and yeah, this should be pretty fun because I finally get to use some of my knowledge that I've accumulated over the years as a nerd um for a video. So yeah, all right. So let's start off. Let's go. AP Calculus AB. Okay, so honestly, I'm I'm gonna have to put it in A because I'm not really, and I know it probably looks like I'm a huge math guy, right? Obviously, I mean, I'm Korean and all of that. I feel like everyone would just assume that I love math. I'm a math whiz, but that's not necessarily the case. My favorite subject is history. I've always been more of a history guy, but I've never really liked math that much, to be honest. I've never honestly I've disliked math for most of my life. I didn't really like pre-calc. I didn't like trig. Um, I didn't like algebra during its later stages. I didn't like any of that. So AP Calculus was like a really nice change of pace because it was almost like a do-over. It was like if you think you're bad at math, honestly, I feel like most people would say don't do AP Calc, but if you're good at grasping concepts, like I'm pretty into philosophy. I like learning about philosophy and conceptual uh, things like that. So if you're into that, if you want to learn more about the world and you want to learn more about you know any sort of concept, like because calc can be applied to anything. It can be applied to econ, uh, obviously the sciences, programming, any of that. Calc can be literally applied to anything in the modern world. It's just so interesting because it's almost like a complete do-over of math. It's like a complete starting from scratch because derivatives, integrals, they're I mean, they are kind of building up off of stuff that you learned earlier, but it is something entirely new. It's like an entirely new field, and it's very interesting. So I definitely recommend Calc AB. Now, Calc BC I didn't take, but I should have, honestly. I kind of regret not taking it. Computer science principles is going to be, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, it was a very easy class, and I love my teacher. I feel like this comp sci would kind of depend on your teacher. Well, all of these would. My teacher was amazing for comp sci. He was really good. Probably one of my top five teachers that I've had while at my high school. But it is a kind of boring class. I'm not gonna lie, especially if you're using Scratch or like Alice or Code.org or any of that kind of stuff. You're just gonna be doing a lot of the same stuff over and over again. You are gonna be learning new stuff, but it's not gonna be anything too thrilling, anything too new. So yeah, it's just a very mid class. It's easy, but it, you might not be very fulfilled taking that class, or you might, I don't know. AP Statistics. Now, I'm gonna have to put this in C tier because I personally didn't get a lot of enjoyment out of it, but it's not a hard class by any means. I mean, as long as you memorize the formulas and how to use formulas, then you're fine for AP Stats. AP Stats is just all about you got to know when to apply the formula, and if you're into that, that's great. But me personally, I wasn't really into it. Although there were some aspects of statistics that I didn't find interesting, and statistics is very useful. I don't know, man. It's not my type of thing. But to someone else, it might just be if you're really into statistics, applied math, and like just using formulas over and over again, then you're gonna love stats, man. Apes, I'm gonna have to put that in B tier. A lot of people assume apes is always gonna be a super easy class, and it is in most in most schools. However, at my school, my apes teacher was super duper passionate. Miss Salazar, she was extremely passionate about uh, all of this, everything we learned in apes. So she basically made us work like I don't want to say slaves, but yeah, we were working super hard. Like I remember we would always get notes online every single class, plus physical, I don't know how to call it, like fill-in notes where we would have to read a text, then fill in these questions, like 10 pages of those, and that was every single class. Occasionally we would have to watch videos, and then obviously there was work in class. We went through a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it was worth it because that AP exam was super duper easy after going through that class. So for most classes, APES is just going to be an easy A. But for me personally, because of my teacher, it was really interesting and it was a lot of work. So yeah. Let's see. So AP art history. Okay, here's a funny story about my AP art history. My teacher that taught it, I believe, got kind of fired within the first month of teaching the subject. So then we had a sub for about 2 months, or yeah, about like a month and a half, who just said, just do whatever you want. So the entire, for about a month and a half, every single class would just be, we go in, we do basically whatever we wanted. We just talk, play games, read, play cool math games, which is mostly what I did. That's all we did. But then suddenly, we had another substitute after that who kind of enforced it. Like we had packets we had to do, but we weren't honestly learning that much. And then the second semester, we had a permanent teacher. But honestly, because of the first semester of pure chaos, it was a bit hard. The AP exam was a bit hard because we kind of we kind of had to like self teach ourselves everything from semester one. So APR history for me personally was kind of a disaster because of my school situation. But if I took it and I had a consistently good teacher throughout the entire year, I think I would really enjoy APR history. Just for me personally, it wasn't a good experience because my teachers kept on changing. Everything was going, yeah, it was quite a hectic and chaotic time. So a lot of these are languages. AP Lang. Oh crap. Oh, okay, thank God. I thought I lost everything for a second. It's not an F tier. AP Lang. I'm gonna have to put that in B tier because I took Lang after Lit, and honestly, everything we learned in Lang, it just kind of felt like easier Lit, at least for me personally. My teacher was great, but yeah, Lang just felt like easier Lit. AP Euro. I'm extremely biased. This got to go in S tier because not only my teacher was actually my cross country and coach. Sorry, my teacher was actually my cross country and track coach, so that was pretty cool. He was very energetic, and I liked the class. And also, I just love European history. I like learning anything about Europe. Honestly, European culture, international relations, music. Yeah, I think Europe is a very interesting place. AP Lit, I'm gonna have to put that in A tier because I first of all, my lit teacher was amazing. She wrote one of my letters of rec, which was really good. Honestly, probably what got me into some of my universities. And also, she assigned 5 books that we had to read. I only read one of them, but the AP test itself, if you're a pretty avid reader like I am, then it's gonna be easy. If you're good at the SAT English section, the AP exam is gonna be pretty easy. If you're into literature at all, like you like reading about, if you like reading fiction, if you read fiction religiously, if you read nonfiction religiously, you're gonna love lit, man. It's a great class for readers. It would be very boring if you're not into literature or reading at all. It'd be terrible. AP Psych, this has to be A tier because not only was my teacher great and very interactive and fun, sorry, I'm gonna have to arrange these. Not only was my teacher great and interactive and fun, it was also just super interesting. Like genuinely, as a guy who's kind of into philosophy, it was genuinely interesting to learn about the concepts of how we perceive things, how we think about things, our emotions, the hormones, everything. It was really interesting, and I thought at first it was just going to be all theories and esoteric ideas, but there's some actual pretty solid science in there, which was really interesting too. So AP Psych is gonna have to be an A tier. Even the tests, this is gonna sound kind of crazy, and I'm gonna sound like a huge nerd, but even the tests were kind of fun to study for, because I would just read and memorize the terms over and over again, and it was pretty interesting. I liked memorizing and learning about those concepts. Wow, I sound like a mega nerd, but yeah, I got a 5 on the exam. Very nice. I'll tell you what I got on each exam. Well, I haven't gotten my score yet for some of them, but yeah. AP Seminar, B tier because it's like a research but way more restricted, and also towards the end of the year I just kept on reading One Piece on my phone. But I had a great teacher, same teacher as my lit, great teacher for me personally. But honestly, AP Seminar is just something you take before research. It's not, it gives you the skills that you need for research, and it is interesting to learn, because in college you're going to use those research skills a lot, right? To write academic papers. So AP seminar, very important to take AP research. That's what I'll say. But on its own, it's not, it's not much. AP human geography. I took this during quarantine, so I like the teacher. However, oh, what the heck? Okay. However, I don't remember much from it because what I did the entire year was I was kind of just trolling and goofing off the entire year. I wasn't even like paying attention in class. I did all my notes, like everything that was assigned to me, I did, and I would always share my homework with everyone. Um, if you were in my AP hug, you know what I'm talking about. Like we were just messing around the entire time. However, the week before the AP exam, I just bought the Princeton Review, read it from cover to cover, and I got a five. So pretty easy class, honestly. Some interesting concepts. I wish I took it now, because I didn't really care for human geography back then. I think if I took the class now, it'd be amazing. AP Gov B tier because a lot of what you learn in okay, I'm gonna have to put this up. A lot of what you learn in AP Gov is honestly kind of rehashed A push. And I know that's controversial, but honestly, a lot of what we learned in Gov, I kind of already knew from A push because in A push, I memorized all. We had a pretty not strict A push teacher. He was really nice, but for A push, it was weekly notes. We would have to learn as much as possible about U.S. history, which included Supreme Court cases and more local court cases. So everything in not everything, but a lot of what AP Gov taught, I kind of already knew from A push. So I'm putting that in high B tier because it was genuinely interesting. A push, gotta put that at. I'll put it in high A tier because A push, there's a lot of interesting stuff in A push, right? The Civil War, the Revolutionary War, the Cold War, basically any war America has been involved in is pretty interesting. Vietnam War, Korean War, and it's really interesting how different ideas in America evolved. It was nice learning more about the founding fathers, all of that stuff. But that's 50% of the class. The other 50%, random at politics, like William Bryan Jennings. I still remember that guy. Poor man. He just couldn't win the presidency. Henry Clay. That man's apparently immortal because he kind of kept on popping up too. There's a lot of random presidents. I can't think of Chester Arthur. Does anyone actually care about him? Uh, I think Grover Cleveland was actually important. Is that an actual president? Yeah. There are actually because it goes not too in depth, but it goes pretty in depth on a lot of kind of politics that aren't very interesting, like the Gilded Age and stuff, and the 50s. That wasn't very interesting to me. Honestly, among the AP history classes, it was probably the least interesting. All right, next up after A push. Oh, AP World Modern. Nice, nice. This is definitely an S tier. Not only was my honestly, I might have to put it ahead of APO. Not only was my teacher amazing, uh, I just really liked AP World History. I mean, what isn't there to love? Everything from what was it? Yeah, like the medieval period. I think it was the Byzantine Empire, all the way to modern day. Really, really interesting stuff. I wish I took that class again now because I couldn't appreciate a lot of the things back then. I was like, oh my god, why are we learning this? This is so boring. But if I went back now, I'd love to learn more about the Byzantine Empire. I'd love to learn more about the Carolingians and the Ottoman Empire, the Safavids, the 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 Qing dynasty, the Ming dynasty, the Sui, the Tang. I'd love to learn more about all of that, the various African dynasties. Yeah, I wish I went back to learn more, but AP World was really fun. It was a really nice experience for me. Now, AP research is gonna have to go in. I don't know if I like this. AP research will go up here in A tier because AP research not only is it's a very unique class. It's probably the most unique class I've ever taken because AP research is literally just research whatever you want, write an academic paper by the end of the year, and do basically give a TED talk. That's it. That's the entirety of AP research, and honestly, I can say it was pretty fun. It was pretty fun messing around. Well, here's the thing. I got a 3 on AP Research. It's my worst AP test grade ever. I got a 3 on it because most of the year I was kind of messing around. but it was really fun. I liked what I was researching, and it was great, and it gave me a lot of skills, a lot of research skills that I know I'm going to use in college. So I highly recommend taking AP seminar and then AP research. So am I missing anything? I don't think so. Yeah. All right. So here's one thing I'll add. I wish I took if our school offered AP Latin, I would definitely take it. And I wish I did take macro and microeconomics because that sounds very interesting. I would take AP German too if they offered it. And honestly, physics would be fun, but physics is just very brutal, I heard. So maybe I wouldn't have taken. Maybe it was a good thing I didn't take physics. So yeah, that's the AP classes I took during my time in high school. How much is that? 15, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, good. So I wasn't clickbaiting. So I'll go through what I got in each class and maybe expound more on why I put them there. AP Roll I got 5, it's just super fun class. AP Roll 5, super fun class. AP Push, it was a 5, I think. Um, or was it a 4? I don't know. But as you can see, I'm very biased. Like the history classes for me are at front because I love learning about history personally, especially more Western history. It's very interesting. Uh, AP Psych was fun. I got a 5. AP Calc, I got a 4. I thought I was gonna get a 5, man. I went in there so confident because the test to me was really easy, but I guess everyone else thought it was easy too. So I got a 4. AP Research, my worst grade, got a 3. AP Lit 5, but that was because I was good at the SAT English portion, and I used Crime and Punishment, which is like my favorite book for the exam. AP Gov, I think I got a. Oh no, I didn't. My score isn't out yet. My score isn't out yet for Ling. Apes, I got a 5, pretty sure. AP Seminar, I got a 4. AP Hug, I got a 5. Not out yet, not out yet, not out yet. All right, so that's it. Overall, I know 15 AP classes is a lot, but honestly, it doesn't feel like much, especially seeing all these other AP classes over here, and I get most of them are language. But I do kind of regret not taking BC. Maybe I should have taken Comp Sci P earlier to take A. Economics seems pretty fun. So yeah, guys, I guess the moral of the lesson is if you see an AP class that interests you somewhat, then just take it. Don't think about, oh, this might be too hard for. Okay, actually, yeah, don't overload. But if you're gonna overload, that's okay too because usually there's like a 2 week grace period where the counselors will let you switch out of class. So just take a if there's an AP class that interests you, just take it. Especially if you hear the teacher is great. Um, the classes that I will personally recommend to everyone is AP Euro, AP World. A Push isn't for everyone. I think AP Psych everyone can benefit from. If you have pre-existing decent knowledge of algebra and trigonometry, take AP Calc. AP Seminar and Research are very unique, so I recommend that. AP Lit and Lang, honestly, you're not going to learn much. APES was very interesting. AP Gov, um, pretty interesting, yeah. And yeah, that's about it. I definitely recommend taking those classes. So, see ya.